Hello, very good evening. Welcome to News Focus Tonight, live from our studios here on the 10th Avenue Extension, Greater Estate. We'll bring you all the latest. We recap all the top stories that has made headline later tonight throughout the day. And what has been the running story? We'll bring you snippets of all the story and we'll visit to some few places and bring you some information and also the stories. 0537158638 is the numbers. You can write the numbers down. Let's start with some summaries of some major stories from the crime scene. Ghana police have arrested 12 Nigerians and 1 Ghanaian in the prostitution ring bust in Koforidua in the eastern region. The suspects are facing charges of prostitution, human trafficking, and brothel operation. In education, the Ghana Education Service (GES) has condemned the stabbing and alleged gang rape at the 2026 Super Zonal Schools competition in the eastern region. 2 students have been arrested and the incident is under investigation. In politics, the President, John Dramani Mahama, has concluded a 3-day state visit to Zambia, discussing business, trade, and economic cooperation. He also sworn in Presidential Advisory Group on Economy to drive Ghana's economic recovery agenda. And business, the Ghana Union of Trade Association, GUTA, has threatened to protest if government doesn't halt the implementation of the value-added tax VAT and restore the flat rate system. The government has summoned an emergency cabinet meeting to address the cocoa sector crisis as farmers express dissatisfaction over delayed payments. On health, Ghana has recorded a decline in food insecurity with 12.5 million people still facing food insecurity according to the Ghana Statistical Service. The question is, how can government deal with, address the allegations of corruption in the cocoa sector, mismanagement that has gone on in the cocoa sector? And most people will be wondering, what is government doing about this situation? And also issues that boils down to prostitution in the country. It has become now a norm for people to tell people what to do. Now the question is, how will government address the issue of allegations of corruption and mismanagement in the cocoa sector? Government is taking steps to address allegations of corruption, mismanagement in the cocoa sector. The President has convened an emergency cabinet meeting to discuss the crisis, focusing on securing funding to pay 300,000 metric tons of cocoa and adopting a hybrid funding approach to prevent further disruption. Government has also outlined several reforms, including financial restructuring, while strengthening the financial oversight and accountability from within the Cocoa Board. Improving communication and also collaboration between Cocoa Board and industry stakeholders, that is a transparency mechanism. Government is placing that in order. Farmer support, ensuring timely payment, providing necessary input and supporting efforts to combat disease like the CSSVD. Debt reduction, reducing Cocoa Board debt from 32 billion Ghana cedis to 20.6 billion. Raising the farm gate prices to 58,000 Ghana cedis per metric ton and paying farmers 70% of the world market price. The Minister of Finance, Dr. Kessler Tuforsen, is expected to address the nation on Thursday, that is tomorrow, February 12th, to outline the reform measures. I know within you, someone will ask what specific measures has government put in place to deal with this Cocoa Board issue. But the biggest question that everybody will be asking, now what has government put in place to be able to deal with this situation? Remember, you can also join us on 0532158638 is the numbers. You can also have a conversation with us, an issue that borders down with the cocoa and its mismanagement, and also the gold, the Ghana's gold as a dream of the cocoa industry being subcharged. Now, if you ask specifically what government has been able to do, government is taking steps to address the corruption within the Cocoa Board, including amending the Cocoa Board Act. Legislative steps are underway to shift the oversight from the Ministry of Food and Agriculture to the Ministry of Finance, strengthening the fiscal risk of management and accountability. Debt reduction. Cocoa board debt has been reduced from 32 billion Ghana cedis to 20.6 billion, with efforts to rationalize the cocoa rolls program. Government also aims to improve the financial oversight, with the Ministry of Finance establishing a cocoa desk to review the cocoa board financial position, investigate and audit, calls for thorough investigation into the cocoa finances, purchases, and agreement to uncover the truth and hold officials accountable. Some experts suggest additional reforms, including ring-fencing farmer payment, protecting the cocoa export proceeds to ensure timely payment to farmers, competitive pricing, implementing data-driven pricing mechanisms to reflect global market conditions, anti-smuggling strategies where using incentives for legal sales and farmer registration to reduce smuggling. So these are some of the few things government is looking at putting in place to protect the cocoa industry. It's still live on the main edition. We're bringing you the news focus tonight. The government has approved emergency measures aimed at expediting payment to cocoa farmers across the country following a lengthy cabinet meeting on Tuesday to address the ongoing liquidity crisis in the sector. The Minister of State in charge of Government Communications, Felix Kwakye Ofosu, announced that the cabinet has also endorsed what he described as the most far-reaching reforms in the history of the cocoa sector, designed to shift Ghana's focus from exporting raw cocoa beans to value-added addiction. The emergency intervention comes after farmers who delivered cocoa beans since November 2025 remain unpaid, with cocoa board owing license buying companies over 10 billion Ghana cedis in outstanding payment. Speaking to the press after the emergency cabinet section, Kwakye Ofosu revealed that reforms are designed to achieve substantial growth in the domestic cocoa processing. According to Kwakye Ofosu, comprehensive restructuring will be undertaken at Cocoa Board to enhance efficiency, transparency, and effective management of the sector. The Minister of Finance is expected to address the nation at 11 a.m., where he will outline the detailed implementation plan and financial framework for the reforms. Away from the cocoa sector, let's move straight to where farmers have shown some commitment. The cocoa farmers are optimistic following government approval of emergency measures to fast-track payment owed to producers across the country. The Minister of State in charge of Government Communication, Felix Kwakye Ofosu, had announced the cabinet has also endorsed what he described the most far-fetching reforms in the history of the cocoa industry. You're live on MBN TV. We're coming to you live from the 10th Avenue Extension, Greater Estate. Now let's move to other story where the former CEO of the National Entrepreneurship and Innovative Program, Kofi Ofosu Nkansah, has been formally charged with publishing false news by the National Investigative Bureau. His legal counsel has confirmed. Nana Ejay Bafo Ewa, who is also the Member of Parliament for Manhyia South, says the charge is related to allegation that someone paid money to secure government-funded scholarship to study abroad. And according to Ewa, Mr. Nkansah was taken into custody on Tuesday and questioned by the NIB officers before the charge was filed. The lawyer added that Nkansah is scheduled to appear in court tomorrow, Thursday, February 12, 2026. His detentions follow a directive by the President, John Dramani Mahama, to the NIB to investigate his allegations of improper practice in the award of overseas scholarship, which he announced on a radio station. In a statement dated February 3rd, signed by the Secretary to the President, Dr. Kalitos Mahama, the presidency noted the allegations has generated significant public interest after the three-language discussion circulated widely across the media platform. Meanwhile, Mr. Nkansah subsequently invited by the NIB to assist with the investigation following the search of his home on Tuesday. So this matter has been brought to bear. Meanwhile, when you move away from there and you go to the KIA, the Kotoka International Airport, the name is still hanging out there. Operatives of the Narcotics Control Commission have arrested a senior manager of a manufacturing company of allegedly attempting to smuggle cocaine out of the country. The suspect, whose identity has not yet been officially released, is said to have concealed the illicit substance in a consignment of packaged Gary dried cassava flakes intended for shipment. The arrest was made at the Kotoka International Airport following a meticulous planned intelligence-led operation. According to the sources at the KIA, who spoke to Graphic Online, the suspect is believed to be in charge of production in the manufacturing firm. Authorities have indicated investigations are ongoing to unravel the full details surrounding the attempted shipment and to ascertain whether other individuals are connected to the suspect's drug syndicate. Now let's move to some other politics. Let's move on to some other political story where I would not allow myself to be used by anyone again. And this is a quote, and I believe you know who this quote is linked to. The quote. Do I have to call it the quote of the day? 0537158638 is the numbers. Kennedy Japan flag bearer, hopeful for the flag bearer, hopeful the one has made it clear he won't concede. He will concede defeat at the presidential primaries. He's done that. But a statement, I will not allow myself to be used again, suggests he is determined to maintain his independence and integrity in the Ghana's political landscape. Let's take a listen to him.
I will not allow myself to be used by anybody again. And I need respect. This year I'll be 64 years. So I will not allow anybody to treat me like I'm a trash. That one, I'm sorry. So let them do their own thing. Some are saying go independent. No, I'm not going to go independent. Because going into that contest, I knew and I said myself that it's 50-50. You can win, you can lose. So if you lose, why would you say that I'm going independent? No, I will not do that to my party. Just that I've learned some lessons that I'm sorry to tell you the truth. I don't trust anybody. You can be anybody. If my will, I don't want to do it. You can't convince me. With the experience I got from this election, no way. You can help somebody to get a position. And when he gets the position, he forgets how he started. And to protect his position, he goes against you. And that is what I learned from it. You see, some people say, oh, he's bitter. I'm not bitter, because I have a lot of money to spend for myself. It's not every MP who didn't vote for me that I'm angry at. No. Everybody has a choice. But the very people who were my friends that I have helped to bring them to parliament, it's not a betrayal, but the bad things they said about me, that is where I have a problem. So who says I'm not bitter? I'm bitter. I'm bitter not because Vice President won. I'm bitter because the people that I have helped. If you are not going to vote for me, no problem. But the insults, I can't forgive them. So if you support Dr. Bawumia, it's your choice. I don't have a problem if you don't insult me. Again, anybody that I have not helped, and through his own efforts, he came to parliament. If he even insults me, I don't have a problem. But I have a problem with people that I helped. Some of them became ministers. Some of them became MPs. And they were the people who were making derogatory statements about me. that is very difficult to forgive. Why is it that if it's easy to forgive, everybody who supported Allah, they are sidelined them? And when it comes to me, you say forgive. They will pretend that I will not pretend. That's the problem. I will not pretend. I will let you know that I didn't appreciate what you did. People say, oh, the guy is rude, this guy. You see, such people, the mere fact that they get the courage to come to you means at the back of your mind, you are stupid. You are stupid. And I will prove to you that I'm not. I'm not.
All right, so you hear the man Ken Agyapong speaking to the press. Away from the Ken Agyapong, let's do some NDC politics, where the National Democratic Congress, the NDC, is facing pressure after a probe committee submitted a report on an alleged vote buy-in in the Ayawaso East parliamentary primaries. The committee, established on February 7th, 2026, was tasked with investigating the claims of inducement and vote buy-in during the party's primary. The report was submitted to the party's functional executive on February 10, 2026. The allegation involved Baba Jamal, who was accused of distributing television set cash and other items to delegates to influence the outcome of the election. Jamal has been declared a winner of the primaries, but the results have sparked controversy, with some calling for the results to be annulled. The NDC has also condemned the allegations vote buying, stating it violates the party's values and principles. The President, John Dramani Mahama, has recalled Baba Jamal from his position as High Commissioner to Nigeria, pending the outcome of the investigation. Now let's take a listen to Dr. Jonathan Archery on pressure at Ayawaso vote buying probe report lands, and then the EC deadline looms.
Moral high ground that the party has assumed. Obviously, because of the way and manner it was brazenly done, as if there was care for nothing. So I appreciate the position of the party on that. That aside, I think that the party will also put itself in a fix, because we are looking at a subculture that has reared its ugly head in our politics, for that matter, across the two political parties. And so it is going to be a bit of a difficulty if the party will want to make a scapegoat of a particular person. Now, when that standard is set, then it means that going forward, the party itself will have its hands tied behind it, in the sense that then in your internal elections that will be coming, we don't have to see that anybody is giving anybody transportation, because whichever form that it takes, it is a motivation that could be equated to bribery, because you want somebody to sway the person's mind towards you. So I'm of the view that, yes, it is good that they want to go on that tangent politically for the optics. We want to name corruption, voter corruption in the map. So that is good. But where they find themselves, I was of the view that they should rather have instructed the EC when the process was going on to stop the elections. But now that the elections have been done, it is not the party that conducted the elections. The EC conducted the elections on behalf of the party. It is the EC that did the declaration. It is not the party that did the declaration. And so the party will find itself in a fix, especially when they want to mount the moral high ground and take a certain decision as, an example for everybody else to follow. But I believe that if I'm hazarding a guess, probably or most likely, if I have a committee that comes out with some suggestions or recommendations, then certainly those recommendations should go or be referred to the disciplinary committee of the party, because they have, the final kick of the whip with respect to exacting some kinds of sanctions against. They may want to let it go, but then probably apply some sanctions along the line. It is unrealistic to suggest that the person that has been elected, you are going to sidestep him and do what? And nominate somebody to represent the name of the party. Then you're going to create confusion in that particular constituency. This is NIMA we are talking about. They think alike, and when they oppose you, they will oppose you alike. And so they will have to be very, tactical with respect to the decision that may not delay the process in terms of the filing. The problem is that the thing has happened, but you need to.
All right, so we had Dr. Jonathan Ottery speaking with to look at the issues happening at Yawaso East, which we looking forward to see that this has turned out to be. Meanwhile, the Fiamekpo also raises this voice on the same matter when he said the NDC under pressures vote buying report, the EC deadline, and on the same score when Dr. Jonathan spoke. Let's take a listen to the majority chief whip.
When we lost our brother, because of the fact that he was a Muslim, or because he was a Muslim, the funerals were expressly done, the prayer and everything. And our members were not available to support in full. We do membership contribution to support the widow. And that was what the members did, and some of the leadership went to submit, because myself and my leader were not available on that day. You would have seen that in that picture or in that visit. So it was not anything we did to support the by-election or the campaign at all. The two activities were totally not connected. But it was sheer coincidence that when we went to submit the contribution of the caucus to support the widow, it appears to have coincided with how close it was with the holding of the by-election or the internal primaries. The submission of the contribution of the caucus members to her nearly coincided with the holding of the internal primaries on that day or the day after that. There was no contribution towards any campaign at all. Like I said, we all abide the outcome of the decision of FEC. And FEC is the National Functional Executive Committee. We also have the National Executive Committee, but this is the Functional Executive Committee's decision. Let's wait for the outcome, and then we can deliberate on this matter. But I want to urge them, whatever the outcome, everybody should become and follow the directions of the party. The party is bigger than all of us. Baba is a big brother. We live in Mamobi together. In fact, when Baba was a serving National Party officer, we were schoolboys in Mamobi. He was, I think it's sometime in 1994 or 95, he was in Legon. We were in secondary school, but we were in Mamobi together. But fortuitously, he and I entered law school together at the Faculty of Law. So we've been very close since, and also belong to the same party. We've become lawyers. We've been very active in national politics. So Baba is like a dear brother. It has nothing to do with whether we like Baba or not. I think it's about just a difference in position.
All right, so you have the man, Nelson Fiamekpo. Meanwhile, the public confidence in the President John Dramani Mahama has soared high, remains strong despite ongoing socio-economic challenges, according to a new survey by the Institute of Economic Affairs, IEA. The findings contained in the press release dated February 11, 2026, shows that 68% of respondents approve of the way the president is handling his job, while 22% disapprove and 10% have no opinion. The poll was conducted in December 2025 and sampled over 1,000 people across all regions in Ghana. The IEA says the survey was carried out to assess the public opinion on the president's job performance 1 year after 2024 general election, as well as the gauge views on the cost of food, consumer goods, and unemployment. According to the report, the president assumed office on January 7, 2025, and high public expectation and significant economic and governance challenges such as high debt levels, rapidly depreciating currency, inflation, unemployment, and concerns about government size. 1 year on, the IEA noted that while many key economic indicators appear to be moving in the right direction, substantial socio-economic difficulties remain. Despite the relatively high approval rating, the survey revealed deep public concern about the rising cost of living. 7 out of 10 Ghanaians, 71%, said they are very concerned about the price of food and other consumable items. Away from the survey, we move straight to look at the education ministry that are concerns that have been raised, calling for audit of free sanitary pads to the basic schools across the country. Something that has also come up. 0537158638 is the numbers. The Ministry of Education has commissioned an audit into sanitary pads supply to many of the schools across the country. The Education Minister Haruna Idrisu says the move follows concerns raised by Consumer Protection Agency over the quality of some products distributed to schools. He noted he is currently reviewing the assessment to determine the next step. Meanwhile, Softcare Manufacturing Limited, a producer of sanitary pads, donated 10,000 sanitary pads to the ministry during the minister's visit to the company's factory. Mr. Idrisu directed that the items be presented to Christian Methodist Senior High School, the nearest SHS facility, to support the female students. Away from the education sector, Ghana is to establish a fertilizer processing plant. The government is looking at establishing a processing plant at Sanerigo, as said by the Sanerigo MP, stated as the Member of Parliament for Sanerigo, Atta Issa, has disclosed that Ghana is set to establish its first ever fertilizer processing plant as part of efforts to reduce the high cost of agriculture production. The MP, who also serves as a Member of Parliament, Trade, Industry and Tourism Committee and the Finance Committee, says the country's heavy reliance on import fertilizer continues to drive up input costs for farmers. Issa explained that the high cost of farmers' inputs contribute to the situations where farmers produce large volumes but still make losses. So government is looking forward in establishing a fertilizer processing plant in Ghana. Ofosu Nkansah, Kofi Ofosu Nkansah, formally charged, scheduled for court on Thursday. The former Chief Executive Officer of the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program, Kofi Ofosu Nkansah, is set to appear before court on Thursday, that is tomorrow, February 12, after being formally charged by the National Investigative Bureau with publishing false news, his legal counsel has confirmed. Away from Nkansah's story, let's do this final bit. Just pick the lawyer's confirmation on Kofi Ofosu Nkansah, the man who has alleged that some scholarship were paid for. So we'll take a listen to his lawyer, the National Intelligence Bureau, also no location according to the lawyer Nana Ejay Bafo Ewa. Ofosu Nkansah was taken away in a convoy of 3 pickups vehicle after the NIB officer searched his residence and questioned him at the NIB office. The NIB is investigating allegations that government-sponsored overseas scholarships were being sold to applicants. Ofosu Nkansah had voluntarily presented himself to the NIB on Friday, on February 5th, accompanied by his lawyer, and was allowed to leave without being charged. However, he was later invited again whilst attending to his seriously ill father in Kumasi. The minority caucus in Parliament has condemned the NIB's actions, describing them as totally unacceptable and demanding Ofosu Nkansah's immediate release. The caucus argues that the action undermines the rule of law and democratic governance in the country. Now, I know most people will be wondering what are the specific allegations from the man Ofosu Nkansah. Now, here's a running story that is running around the entire country now. So you wonder, what did he do? Well, Kofi Ofosu Nkansah, he was the former CEO of the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program, NEIP, is facing allegations of selling government-sponsored overseas scholarship. He claimed that some individuals, including members of the New Patriotic Party, pay up to 100,000 Ghana cedis to secure scholarship for studies abroad. The allegations sparked public concerns over transparency and fairness in awarding state-sponsored educational opportunities. The President, John Dramani Mahama, directed the National Intelligence Bureau, NIB, to investigate the claims, and Nkansah has been cooperating with the investigation. I know a lot of people will also be wondering why this at this time. It's a serious issue that needs to be investigated. So the man was picked up, and we look forward to see the NIB providing an update, but the man will be processed to court tomorrow, 12th of February. There are conflicting information about his current status. Some reports indicate he was taken to an unknown location, while other states has been hospitalized due to health concerns. The NIB has not officially provided any update on Ofosu's status. The investigation is ongoing, and the minority caucus in Parliament has demanded his immediate release, citing concerns over his treatment. Now we take a listen to his lawyer, and then we come back into the studios and open the phone lines.
A directive of the Secretary to the President, who in a public statement stated that based on some statement that Kofi had made on a television program, Sumpa, there should be an investigation into the matter by the National Investigations Bureau. What was the matter? The matter had to do with the sale of scholarship. And Kofi has stated that, look, these things, they happen, and even now he knows someone who is alleged to have purchased the scholarship. And even on the TV stated that he had very scanty details, right? And so even on the TV, the information he had given the information was inconclusive. Subsequent to the release, he was invited, subsequent to the release by the Secretary to the President, he was invited by the National Investigations Bureau last week. Upon the invitation, he was made to write a statement. He wasn't charged, and he was allowed to go. He stated there that there was the information came from a third party. He provided details on the third party. Yesterday, he was again invited to come yesterday, and he said to them that because of some domestic emergency, he is unable to make it to the NIB because of a domestic emergency. So because of a domestic emergency, he couldn't make it. He even procured an excuse duty note, which supported why he couldn't make it. Then he insisted that contrary to his request to make it to the NIB on Wednesday, he should show up today at 11. We got here today at 11. I had to go to Parliament, so I left I left 2 of my colleagues from the office here to assist, and then another lawyer friend of Kofi, and another lawyer friend of Kofi called Jeff. So I was in Parliament when they called to tell me that they've charged him for publishing false information, and they are on their way. The BNI is on its way. Officials of the BNI were on their way with Kofi to his residence to conduct a search. I went there. Just when I got there, they had completed and they were returning back to their office in Nima. So presently, that is where I find myself. I'm at their office in Nima, where they have brought Kofi. So Kofi is here, and we are trying to see if we can get a bill for him.
So he had the lawyer's confirmation of the NIB moving in from one end to the other. 053-715-8638 is the numbers. You can also call us right away and also give your input on any of the stories that interest you that we've shared throughout the day. What has happened, the happenings in the country. Is a news focus. We bring you all up to speed with all the latest stories across the country and beyond. Let me get to hear you now. You can also word in, is it a cocoa matter? Is it a Kojo pursuing cancer's matter? Is it about the NDC? Is it about the minority in Parliament? Is it about the majority in Parliament? Is it about government plans to pay off the cocoa and then restructure the cocoa payment system? Whichever way, whatever of the story, whichever stories it really interests you tonight, News Focus, call us 053-715-8638. The numbers 053-715-8638 is the number. 053-715-8638 is the number. You can also call us now and let's have a conversation. Let's have a tete-a-tete as we sojourn for God and for country. I mean, to Unka and Bray, Yabubon some no so, the Bray, and some no, a fee NPP, Ken, a Japan, Australia, a Bebe Sinko, NIB, Echo, a Baimu, and a Shisha Bandi Guquemos and a Baby Quick, 4 Musika Mawomo, a Kaida also Muji, over 300,000 metric tons of cocoa, a buying, a Wahwa buying into main plain tree, and also on some Yaka a Yakujufusu. Eko ka se eye abaye scholarship ya de man focus twa de krofo etua ho sika omutua ansana and then also the investigator no they're charging officially for pushing force matter into the system into a court yami aduma achna 053-715-8638. Hello, good evening. The matter of friends who are no radio no TV volume akofom. When you give us a call, make sure the volume on your TV set is down. And then we can have conversation here in the studio. 053-715-8638 is the numbers. You can also share your thoughts with us tonight in Focus. So let me get to hear you as we sojourn for God and for country. Hello, good evening. All right. Now, so whilst waiting for your call, let's look at some other stories making headlines in the country. The Ashanti Regional Command of the National Ambulance Service has raised concern over persistent no-bed syndrome in the major health facilities across the regions, warning that it is a major obstacle to effective emergency response. According to the service, ambulance teams are increasingly forced to spend long hours transferring critically ill patients from one hospital to another in search of available beds, delaying urgent care and also straining emergency resources. This is a sad story from the national. So no bed syndrome. See, that's all. 053-715-8638. 053-715-8638. Air numbers are open to me and Yakasa. The Ashanti Regional Manager, Deputy Chief Advanced Medical Emergency Technologies, Melon Duarte says the situation hampers ability to respond to emergencies. No bed. Quite interesting to hear this. No bed syndrome. Wow. Is it still existing? Let's get to here. Now, whilst waiting for your call, we go to the story where NACOP to start licensing medicinal industrial cannabis cultivation in Ghana. The Narcotics Control Commission has announced plans to implement a licensing regime for medicinal and industrial cannabis cultivation in Ghana. The move follows Parliament approval of regulatory and cost framework allowing the control, cultivation, processing, and use of cannabis contain no more than 0.3% for medicinal and industrial purposes. According to NACOP, the license will only be granted to qualified entities that meet stringent requirements, including robust security protocols, product traceability system, quality assurance standard, and full compliance with applicable laws and regulations. The Commission has also cautioned prospective applicants to engage exclusively with NACOP through the Cannabis Regulations Department, warning against the intermediaries and individuals claiming to facilitate licenses. 053-715-8638 is the numbers. The lines are fully activated, so you can also join us. You can call us now and let's get to hear you. 053-715-8638. Aye numbers Kokwe Kwiafo and some seminal Abainse Oshe China Finance Minister about boy and come kwan mo faso na mo treaty aye farmers no 300,000 metric tons. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Your name, where you reaching us live from Udine, baby Alfrefi.
Okay. I'm calling from Secretary Times of Western North.
Western North. Yenti boss.
Western North. Secretary Times of Western North. Yeah. Yeah. You're saying to go back to coming back to go back to the it's actually go crowd and go back to our country on top. The class in over yeah, two cars and what you usually can go back to school and not all you got it, or you got it. If you are going to be Caracas, Abano try there, we will go on and go there, go there,
yeah, that's say, Abaye say, Nyamebo China Finance Minister. And you ever to train come on, I should show me that Guaquemo, Coco phone, you be cheer 053-715-8638. Aye numbers also between my friend. Now, Uchi, a compreko Kennedy, Japan. I say, I will not allow myself to be used. I will not allow myself to be used. I'm my kind yumbi. I say, cow we no getting a god of fanning flies. I say, I can't kill myself. Debbie. He will not allow himself to be to be used. There was one crop for now. On my show no. I no person go ye showdown, but my show no red card. The smoothness level. The late Sir Joe Becker, fear delegate. On my Jessica, now so on my man says to form. They are one and they so. You know that song too is there. It was say, I will not allow myself to be used again. And the bro for back 053-715-8638. And numbers go quick your phone. So is here the Abaye say, I then. Or they should say at all. Obitia mukin now. As that we tear makan in Amami. Obitia. Sana Abaye Kachina. Yami Adumwa. Christ and Ba, you be finance minister. Kesala to forcing. And then she share Mudi Guab Aquemu and making sure say farmers no umbe how Mamun to assassin and find Galam say there be by the Bichiacano or Bichana what to cook for crime so now with what to cook on. Into my mentor can't you be a measure mediation? Obia sending me message or say getting your line is difficult. Network is not allowing us to get through to you. Well, so you keep trying 053 053715868 and your little number. A phone number with me. Afresia na yedin komo. Enchibia be sorry jumedie so na mako na ye miracle. Ne team no nyake bia no. Omde ayden. Omde asheso ewa ha enchibia meko. Well, where the politics. Also, New Patriotic Party parliamentary 2024 parliamentary candidate for Domi Kwabenya, Mike Okwe Jr., has pledged to unite with a former member of parliament for the area, Sarah Adjoa Safo, to help secure victory for the party, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, in the 2028 general election. In Kambum, that's what they say. In Kambum, we'll work together, we'll come together. In Kambum, unity is strength. It's very difficult to break it down. That is what they are seeking to do. Dr. Michael Quay Jr. and Ms. Safo have reportedly not been on speaking terms following their contest in the party's internal parliamentary primaries. This is here, Ubia Ajobrel. Ajobrel. Yes, Ajobrel. Oh, Ajobrel. Now, I also is by election. That's one person that is the Deputy Director of Election and IT for the National Democratic Congress, Rashid Tanko, computer, has dismissed concerns that allegation of vote buying could affect Baba Jamal Ahmed Mohammed chances in upcoming Ayawaso East by-election. What's he affecting? No bemi. Africa no be no more. Musu na me no more. Sa no be no. Anka be de na yo ya. Africa over TV cramba over 32 inch or the plasma a 65 inches. Nkushia kro di be ka ho. Kushia ya no ane meko no. Esi o de akoko nam kra be ka ho. Far Richard. Was we nya ka ho. 053 715 38 and then is somewhere and then you may a day bravo. Oh, Kwekusi, I'm listening to you all the way from Bimbila. Chairman, I'm having difficulties getting through your line. I don't know what's going on today with your line. Well, it has been like that since morning, struggling through. Hello, good evening.
Yeah,
Brad, your first Brad Kweku. Me pacho say no nyame bwana finance minister di be tu dwachna na be hu so turn for no so ode musika ne bi kan wa na ode pimo so na so wa turn for that say aton agwa say twemu yo ya da say asa me wo chim na ko turn me car 5 cities ene so ma turn e ko hwi ni wa betumi aye bio yo mo shit yes, I'm granny. I want you know. I want you. I had the body. Hello, good evening. Friend na TV no na as a man command and command nyamido. I don't person with tie nkomo. No, so I na opposite TV no there any years out. But obakumbo nwrem ne yampon. The Baba Kumbo room, Bomodia. Mse line Ayashi, Ubia Peso Bowrim. And to the Chifamusa, you overtaken, then you film the bra. In this uncle, my name on the on issues that has to do with the cocoa sector, navigating financial storm triggered by the collapse. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. But you didn't be of free. Mayentil, or the bonnetil to Nianco, bonnetil to Nianco. Yao bonnetil Nianco. Okay. I buy so the Shishigu Aquemo, a funeral, and then normal hold the meetings. Nyamia Domoa, a China finance minister, the competition and the almost soon in Abbott Guaquem. Ama yedi a 2 year to Monka, Macoman Tomoyam, Yen China. Why? That's a yaw, a fee bono on also Abacayansa and as a cuckoo phonobia wild. I buy 300,000 metric tons in your tuning na Nafi ya value. A Saturday a chocolate day and a young one mobi Monza. Well, this is where time will permit us to come your way with today's edition of the News Focus Tonight. For more news, log on to MBN 360. I'll be back, God willing, tomorrow, same time, same channel. And we're live across all our social media handles. My name is El Samuels. I want to say a big thank you to the camera team, to PCR, MCR, for every Tom, Dick, and Harry that has made the News Focus. I know we keep losing people. The line is becoming quite difficult, but this is where to say thank you. God bless you all. Have a good night.